Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the news postcarded on TayNinhTV with some last events in our province as well as nationwide, and here are our stories today. On the evening of May the 3rd, the Vietnam Border Guard Trooper organized a performance program to serve the officers, soldiers, and the people in the border areas at the mobile training battalion of the Tay Ninh Provincial Border Guard. The program was attended by Colonel Nguyễn Văn Dũng, Deputy Political Commissioner of Tay Ninh Provincial Border Guard Command. The performance program was elaborately staged by officers and soldiers of the Vietnam Border Guard Trooper with many singing and dancing performances, but with a national cultural identity. The works praised the party, alcohol, the tradition of the Vietnam People's Army, and the image of the border guard soldiers with people in the border area in the course of building and firmly protecting the sovereignty, territory, and security of the national border.
Bến Cầu District Labour Confederation had just organized a launching ceremony for workers' meet and measure of occupational safety and hygiene in 2025, and 150 union officials, union members, and workers in the district. In 2024, with the theme Vietnamese Workers Pioneer Entering a New Era, the District's Labour Confederation launched the following contest, organizing activities to care for the material and spiritual life of workers, promoting dynamism and creativity in production, activities of the Department of Action on Occupational Safety and Hygiene in 2025, with the theme Strengthening Assessment, identifying risks and proactively implementing measures to ensure occupational safety and hygiene at the workplace. On this occasion, the District Labour Confederation presented 20 gifts to workers in difficult circumstances. On this occasion, the Provincial Labour Confederation awarded a certificate of merit from the Vietnam General Confederation of Labour to the Grassroots Union of the Finance and Planning Department of Bến Cầu District.
And in order to effectively implement the anti-plastic waste movement in the coming time, the Tay Ninh province will tighten the granting of business licenses to enterprises that produce and import single-use plastic products, non-biodegradable plastic packaging, and products and goods containing microplastics in the province. Specifically, from January 1st of 2026, the Tay Ninh province will not grant investment registration certificates to projects that produce and import non-biodegradable plastic bags with dimensions smaller than 50 centimeters multiply 50 centimeters and a film thickness of less than 50 nanometers, except in cases of production for export or production and import for packaging of products and goods sold on the market. After December 31st of 2030, the Tay Ninh will not issue investment registration certificates for the projects producing and importing single-use plastic products, except for products certified with Vietnam Eco-Label, biodegradable plastic packaging, including the biodegradable plastic bags, for plastic boxes for packaging and containing food and products and goods containing microplastics, except for the cases of production for export and cases of production and import of biodegradable plastic packaging for packaging products and goods sold on the market. And the banking activities in Tay Ninh province abroad continue to maintain positive indicators of mobilized capital and loan capital. However, the bad debt ratio is also showing signs of increasing.
By the end of April, the total mobilized capital of credit institutions in the province was estimated at more than 75,439 billion Vietnam dong, up 0.9% over the previous month. In addition, lending activities also recorded a slight increase. Total outstanding credit to date reached more than 108,234 billion Vietnam dong, up nearly 2% over the previous month. However, a notable issue is that the bad debt ratio currently accounts for nearly 2.3% of total outstanding debt, up from 1.7% at the beginning of the year. This shows that there are still many difficulties in the debt repayment capacity of a segment of consumers, especially from the new U.S. tariff policy, which continues to make production and business difficult.
And ladies and gentlemen, within the solid walls and cold bars are the lives of domestics, including the prisoners at an age when they should be cherishing the beautiful dreams of youth. just because of a moment of rashness, a thoughtless action. They have had to pay the price for their illegal acts, and they are repenting every day, trying to reform, longing to rebuild their lives. Serving their sentences in prison, prisoners begin series of days of repentance and making efforts to reform. They have been informed and educated about the law to understand and that only with relentless efforts can they have the opportunity to reform and reintegrate into the community. I also realized that some prisoners, when they come to the prison to serve their sentences, have very special circumstances that we, the officers, share as well as comfort, encourage and help them because if in their family circumstances they have relatives such as father, mother, brother, sister or close friends, etc. But once they're in this prison, the only relatives are us. So we always listen to their thoughts, wishes, as well as encourage and comfort them to overcome the process during the time of serving their sentences in the prison, so that they can soon return to their families and society. And that is the highest goal that we want to achieve. In the past time, KK Prison has coordinated with the Provincial Library and the Vietnam Youth Union of the province to organize mobile library activities and provide library training for future soldiers and prisoners also. In particular, the Vietnam Youth Union of the province, together with the Tainan Young Entrepreneurs Association and experts, provided psychological and legal counseling to prisoners who were about to complete their prison terms, helping them gain more life skills and legal knowledge to reintegrate into the community and reduce the risk of recidivism. I will hurt my mother and will say that I was wrong. I apologize to my mother, and later I will rebuild my life so that I can take care of my mother, my father, my younger brother to have a more stable, better, and happier life. In the darkness of their mistakes, these young prisoners are still hoping to be rehabilitated soon, and they understand that the path back to their family and community is very difficult. So besides their own efforts to reform, they long to receive the sympathy, tolerance, and an open door to rebuild their lives, to live well, to live usefully for the society. And the government allows control testing of fintech products and services in the banking sector from July the 1st. The maximum testing period is 2 years. Testing is not allowed abroad. The government has just issued Decree number 94 of 2025 regulating the control testing mechanism in the banking sector, and this decree takes effect from July the 1st. Accordingly, fintech financial technology solutions will be tested, including the credit scoring, data sharing via open API, and peer-to-peer lending. The testing period of fintech solution is up to 2 years depending on each solution and specific field, calculated from the time the State Bank grants a certificate of participation, and the testing period can be extended according to the regulations. The pilot implementation of fintech solutions is limited to Vietnam territory. Cross-border testing is not allowed. And ladies and gentlemen, on the afternoon of May the 4th at the National Assembly House, the member of the Party Central Committee, Secretary of General of the National Assembly, and Head of the National Assembly Office, Lê Quang Tùng, chaired a press conference on the expected program of the ninth session, the 15th National Assembly.
The next session, 15th National Assembly, is a session with many important contents, implementing the resolution of the 11th Conference of the 13th Party Central Committee, historic conference, discussing historic decisions in the new revolutionary period. At this session, the National Assembly will consider and decide on 3 resolutions on constitutional work, 51 laws and resolutions on legislative work, 14 groups of contents on social economics, state budget, supervision, and other important issues. At the same time, there are 8 groups of contents that agencies send reports to National Assembly deputies for study as a basis for exercising the right to supervise and review the contents according to the regulations. Explained, the ninth session will be organized in 2 phases. Phase 1 from May 5, 2025, May 29, 2025, Phase 2 from June 11, and is expected to close on June 30, 2025. The total working time of the National Assembly is expected to be 37 days.
The foreign direct investment FDI attraction in the first quarter of 2025 still maintained impressive growth with many strong growth indicators compared to the same period. However, in the current new context with many challenges, Vietnam needs to continue its reform efforts and have breakthrough policies to promote this capital flow to contribute to overall growth targets. By the end of the first quarter of this year, the total registered FDI capital in Vietnam reached nearly $11 billion, an increase of nearly 35% over the same period last year. In particular, this per FDI capital reached $4.96 billion, an increase of 7.2%, and it is the highest realized FDI capital in the same period in the last 5 years and reflects the economy's capacity to absorb and disperse FDI capital, and the number of new investment projects and the number of projects with the adjusted capital have confirmed that Vietnam continues to be an investment market that the foreign investor trusts and make any investment decision as well as expand existing investment projects. Vietnam has a very abundant and well-trained, highly knowledgeable and hard-working workforce. For any investors, it is a sustainable development for at least the next 10 years, and that is why we invest in Vietnam. Commenting on the coming time, the Ministry of Finance said that there are currently many factors that directly affect the FDI attraction, specifically international organizations and banking and financial institutions on ourselves, the possibility of an increase in the probability of a global economic downturn, and possibly leading to an economic recession. Accordingly, many organizations have lowered the global economic growth rate, and this will certainly affect Vietnam. Despite such difficulties, the Ministry of Finance is also implementing many solutions, such as establishing working groups to work directly with the large investor to promote and concretize the large FDI projects. And the target for 2005 is to register from 39 to 40 billion US dollar. The implemented capital is 27 to 28 billion US dollar, and we continue to strive for this goal along with the proposed solutions. In the coming time, attracting FDIs must improve in quality because it is the most important thing. Because we have reached that quality is important, and of course, we must reach a certain level in quantity also. If we attract quality for investment, it will support Vietnam's economic development very well in the coming time, especially attract investment in science and technology, digital transformation, and semiconductors also. In addition, businesses also recommend that the management agencies continue to streamline administrative procedures, loosen visa and work permit issuance processes for foreign experts, and increase transparency in laws and law enforcement. Only then will the flow of investment capital into Vietnam be unlocked and stronger. And from May the 5th, Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange and market members will officially operate the new information technology system of KRX, marking an important turning point for the Vietnamese securities market. KRX is considered the backbone system covering on trading activities and market information, registration, depository clearing, supervision, and risk management. In particular, the system transformed from fragmented management between exchanges and depository cooperation to centralized management system. And this system is expected to improve the transaction processing capacity, increase the transparency and stability for the entire securities market. And on May the 3rd, the People's Committee of Dong Nai Province said that it has requested units in the province to review and take measures to handle the cost civil servants and public employees who are renting or purchasing the social housing but are absent when the competent authorities conduct inspections. The People's Committee of Dong Nai Province requests that the people working in state agencies who have rented or purchased social housing but now have new housings and no longer need to yield the social housing voluntarily return it. In the future, if cases of social housing being used for the wrong subjects are discovered, the province will resolutely reclaim that. Recently, the Department of Construction of Dong Nai conducted an inspection of the management and use of social housing in Bien Hoa City, and thereby many shortcomings and violations were discovered, causing outrage in the community. In the social housing areas, there are dozens of apartments being used for the wrong subjects. Notably, despite PR notice, when checking 900 households, nearly 270 households were absent, and the mass absence situation makes it difficult to verify directly. And ladies and gentlemen, at this year's Paris International Exhibition, Vietnam Space had gathered for nearly 40 domestic enterprises. In addition to traditional products such as handicrafts, national costumes, jam, tea, fruits, For the first time, the unique and environmentally friendly handmade products made in Vietnam were introduced to visitors. Speaking at the opening ceremony of Vietnam Space on May the 3rd, Vietnamese ambassador to France, Đinh Toàn Thắng, highly appreciated the participation of many domestic enterprises with a desire to introduce from cuisine products to handicrafts, fine arts, contributing to helping the French public explore all the aspects of Vietnamese culture. The General Secretary told them made an official visit to France last year, and in the coming weeks, French President Emmanuel Macron will pay a state visit to Vietnam, and these visits, along with the cooperation in all fields, very rich and diverse, like Vietnam's presence at the Paris Fair this time, have been and are making important contributions to strengthening and developing the relationship between Vietnam and France. Mr. Stephen Abajoli, director of the Paris Fair, expressed his gratitude to the partners and businesses who brought the Vietnamese spirit to the fair, contributing to preserving and spreading the national culture to the international community. According to him, the Paris Fair is the cultural crossroads, a meeting place for all meetings, exchanges, and global connections. Vietnam holds a very important position for us. The Vietnam Space has long been a part of the history of the Paris Fair, and every year we are very happy to welcome the artisans who bring honor to Vietnamese culture and handicrafts, and that also helps the French people who have not had the opportunity to visit Vietnam to be able to explore the part of this distant country right at the gateway to Paris. The highlight of this year's Vietnam Space is the appearance of many environmental-friendly handicraft products reflecting the global sustainable development trend. Our products are made from the root pot, completely natural, environmental friendly without chemical cleaning, and these products are used for bathing or cleaning dishes and bowls and very convenient. Environmental protection is the message that businesses want to send to the international public. The new feature in the Center operating strategy this year is to promote Vietnam's tourism through introducing documents, pictures, and tourism products of travel companies to French customers. And the Center's goal is to bring the cultural identity of Vietnamese people to international friends more and more strongly, and to help international friends understand more about our country and the people of Vietnam. Right from the first day of the fair, Vietnamese products have received many positive responses from French consumers. We find the products very beautiful. There are many interesting things that we did not know before, so we want to explore more. The Paris Fair 2025 theme The World in Paris will take place from April 30th to May 11th at the Pro de Versailles Exhibition Center. The event will bring together more than 1,250 exhibitions from 40 countries and territories around the world, and it is the largest trade and cultural event in France, with a history of more than 120 years, attracting hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. And that's all for today, TV News. Thank you for being with us, and goodbye for now.